こえますか？聞こえますか？聞こえる場合、事務局、山内さん、ありがとうございます。山内さんはオンラインですか？それとも、現場にいますか？
オンラインです。
現場にいる人に、ちょっと話をしたいんですけど、全然誰もこのズームに耳を傾けてなくて、どうしたらいいですかね。
今、現場聞こえてます。
どなたですか？
小笠原です。
小笠原さん、
はい。
今非常に危険な行為が発生したので注意をさせていただきたいんですけど、聞こえますか？
聞こえてます。
ですね、物理的にこの Zoom につながっている音声とかのコードを抜き差しすると金属音が発生するんですね。で、
なるほど。
そういう金属音が発生すると、Zoom につながっている人たちの、耳が痛む恐れがあって非常に危険なんですね。だから、物理的に音声のプラグを抜き差ししたり、物理的にカメラやマイクや中の PA とかのセッティングを物理的に変更するときには、ズームを消してやらないと、これを聞いてる人たち、みんなの耳が痛むんですよ。
わかりました。伝えます。
だから今ズームを消してやってください。今一度。もしやるんでしたら。私はもうこれで、今日は終わります。失礼します。
これ今再生してる。端末側とか出てる。出て、いや、端末から会場側に。端末から音は出てるよ。ほら。これ出てるはずだよな。ちょっと待って。
Color lines goes where you do red. Oh, they look exactly the same. And so for every single thing had a color code. So it looks a bunch of color line web codes.
出てないな。ちょっとごめんなさい。状況が僕もわかんないです。
じゃあやっぱさっき一方通行しかできないかな。ありがとうございます。
ルーム B のテストです。テストです。
こうやって音ってここで拾えます。ズームに流れてるかどうか確認したいんですけど。
ルーム B のテストです。ルーム B のテストです。
入ってる入ってる。
通訳者さん、現地スタッフです。今聞こえてますでしょうか？はい、聞こえております。よろしくお願いします。すいません、現地トラブルで、ですね、日本語から英語への、翻訳ができなそう、会場で流せなそうなので、今回のセッションは、英語から日本語というところのみ、翻訳していただければと思います。はい、よろしくお願いします。
では時間になりましたので、セッションを始めたいと思います。辻、It's start time.
Now it should work. And for the translators as well? Yeah, okay. Well, then we can start. So I'm so glad it works. And I am so glad to see all of you here. That's unbelievable. So late night, almost time to sleep, and you're still here. So we have this unique chance today to win. Hey, it doesn't work? No? Yeah. To win one of those books in Japanese. I just received a box with them. So if you can read Japanese, actually, not those of you who cannot, but those of you who can, right? You can get some of those, of course, with a signature if you want. So the first one was the black gray one, and that's for Scrum Masters. I wrote it because I thought I'm sharing some experience which is useful for Scrum Masters at my classes, but I can only teach that many people in my life, even if I teach my entire workday, weekends, holiday, and everything. So I thought, like, what should I do? How can I spread the message around? So I wrote that book. So hopefully you found it useful, or you will. Like the first one, the leadership, because at the end of the day, what's of a good agile is the leadership or the lack of leadership. So I want to start with, I need to learn how to use this. Okay, I need to start with my journey. So when I started, my first experience with agile was very individual culture. No teams, no collaboration, cubicles, typical American corporation. Like that size, I could see when I stand up, I could see across the cubicles around me, people with like no connection to my work. But every week I meet my colleagues for an hour for a status meeting. Ah, so great. I feel lonely. And then out of nowhere, like this, they switch to Scrum. They say, oh, you, and you, random people, of course, my old colleagues, you're going to be sitting here in the meeting room, and you're going to be collaborating, pair programming. So as you just realized, we only have half of a number of computers than we have the number of people here. So you're going to be really pair working. You still have your cubicle out there. You can read your emails there if you want to, but you're expected to be most of your time here. And by the way, if you have a daily Scrum every day and we have a retrospective, and you might guess how I take it as a new tool, new process, new t-shirt with a new logo. Not much, crazy stuff. And then I come back to Prague where I live. That's how to use it. The Prague where I live, and I started implementing it because they asked me, now you have to be a Scrum Master. And I was like, I don't want to be a Scrum Master. And my manager, he said like, yeah, but you have to, right? You're the only one who ever seen Scrum from our company, 2005, long time ago. It's okay. I don't like Scrum. He was like, yeah, I don't like it either. So you just started. So I did. Implementing, follow the process, implement the tools exactly this way, right? Because we didn't even read a Scrum guide at that time, but some internal process from that company was saying so. I was trying to do my best. I make a deal with my manager that I'm only going to be a Scrum Master for a very short period of time, 3 months. And then I go back to coding. Apparently, I realize it's fun. So I stopped coding, start dealing with people, and start slowly by slowly realizing, what is this journey really about? So mindset change, different way of thinking, different way of doing things. Very different from what I thought originally. But I realized it's fun. It was engaging. It was working with people. Really good. And I became step by step better in it. Of course, I did all the mistakes you can ever imagine. All those nice birds and talking about something. I guess I was there at the beginning. Not proud of it, especially, but I did my best. I tried. And only after a couple of years, I guess, I started being agile and I started really living that and realizing like, what is this shift truly about? And feel confident to help some other companies. So this talk is a collection of stories from different organizations, different teams, and the mistakes we did collectively or they did, and I was unable to prevent it anyway. Because the fact that you know how it should be, well, that's a good starting point. But now can you help others to see it? That's a very different thing. So the whole thing is organized around 5 segments. The first one, engaged culture. It's all about the culture. It's all about the people. But it's so difficult to explain. So imagine telco company. They got single discipline skills departments, detailed position descriptions, individual performance set in place, no collaboration, no teams. Very funny. When you start talking about this environment, about teams, you realize they say, oh, it's a group of individuals, we have a team. No, you don't. It's a group of individuals. Now it might stop talking to me. It's much better. So, group of individuals, right? That's one of the things. It's so different from a team, from collective ownership. But when you start implementing Scrum on a group of individuals, guess what you get? Dark Scrum. And it's actually very dark, very ugly. No one likes it. So they say, oh, the Scrum doesn't work for us. We are this, telco. We don't do software or just software. Of course, they were software house internally. They just haven't realized. So eventually, year after year, and that was a really painful journey, we make first teams. Because their first attempt to build a team was actually saying, you have this expert, 5%, we cannot afford to give you more than 5% of this guy. With her, you can get 20%. Yeah, we can afford it. For her, 30%. As you see, you have 60% of this guy. You're really lucky. Guess what happened if you ask those people to come to daily Scrum? They say, well, I didn't have a time to do anything on Scrum, and I'm not doing anything, and yeah, I have no problems with it. Very funny. So when the Scrum Masters called me to this daily Scrum, I was like, well, you need to build a team first. Otherwise, it's not going to work. They're like, but we cannot. We only have 5% of this guy because he's the real expert. So we try to deal with it, start lobbying with their managers and start explaining things, do whatever we can. We ask for, give us anybody. We don't care. We don't need this expert. Keep him. Year? It took us a year. And then we got real improvement. 50% of the random folks from those departments. Every morning they show up in that meeting room, do Scrum, and they went for lunch and do their work for their manager. It improved, yes. But there was a time where my patience was over and I said, like, I can't help you here anymore. I tried, and I have no other ideas how to fix it. And if I would be more patient and wait longer and longer and longer in that pain with them, 3 years after, they got the real Scrum teams. So sometimes all you need is just wait because the organization is not ready for that. And you can also say, if I would have done something differently, it might work. Possible. But I failed in here. I was unable to shift that organization. I was unable to explain. They all say, yes, we understand, but we have a team already. No, you don't. It doesn't work. It's painful for the people. Oh, we have to do Scrum. Scrum doesn't work here, but we have to do it anyway. So dark. So instead, if you're up for really doing anything, collaboration is what you need. But collaboration needs a couple of things. Trust and openness. So if you don't have a trust in that organization, they didn't really trust each other because of the individual KPIs, goals set sort of against different people, so they cannot be all successful. Openness was not their strength either, because, you know, if I tell you what I know, you can replace my job. I'm not telling you anything. In diversity, well, not really. One of those things is transparency. Transparency could be really scary. If you open everything up, and we did that on one of our projects, the most demotivated people we ever got. And they were all close to leave the companies, like saying, we are leaving, we don't want to be on this project anymore. What we did, we make a radical transparency. We open everything, the numbers, the decision behind it, the company, expectations, everything. I say, okay, deal with it. Here are the key parameters you need to keep. Come up with a better solution. And actually they did. They shuffled the finances around, rent a car instead of driving their own car, which is crappy, hire a different hotel instead of the old one. And guess what? In a couple months, it was the best project ever everybody wanted to work on, just because we organized it differently. It was even more profitable for a company. So transparency, make it available for them to make a decision, because if they don't know, they cannot make any of those decisions. But it's scary. What if they see things? There's another scary thing, failure. I remember I got this slide on a different presentation in a bank. And I was talking about need for experiments. Did you really need to run experiments? And how do you know that you run an experiment? 8 out of 10 things gonna fail. You should see their faces. They're like, what do you mean fail? Like, you cannot fail. We are a bank here. We are a serious organization. And when I talk with some of them after that, they were saying, well, you know, when you say failure here, you imagine something which is like 5 years running and then it fails, like our bank account stopped working. It's not a failure we are talking here about. It's a small thing. You try to have a board with post-it notes and then you realize it's not working for you that way, so you change it to something else next day, next week, maximum. There are different organizations. In some organizations, they take a failure as a bad thing, as an opportunity to blame. It's your fault anyway. Everything is your fault. Let's fire him. Yeah. You make a failure. Mistake. Bad. And there are some other organizations where in the same situation, they say, oh, thank you for showing us that we have a problem. We should actually promote this guy because he helped us to improve. Now think about it. Which environment you work on? This one? That one? Yeah, do a reflection, right? And finally, I think the hardest is this one. Because when I started at the outside level with the processes. We implemented Scrum. By the way, dark Scrum anyway, but we tried. And what I learned over the years, you need to start from inside. Thinking about culture. What are the values here? Who are we? What is important here? Do you even know what are the values of your organization? And when you start asking those questions, it's really interesting. Because in some organizations, you got immediate answers. We value openness. And I say, okay, so how does it translate to your daily life? And they give you a story. But in most of the organizations, it's like, what do you mean, values? Huh? You have a KPI here. Work to be done. Very nice. And only once you understand the values you want to create and the culture you want to have, only then we can talk about different structure and maybe different frameworks, Kanban, Scrum, less. Those are the three I'm usually offering the organizations. But without that value understanding, it's not gonna work. So that's the culture, right? Start from the values and build that culture. Team-oriented, collaboration-oriented. Build teams. The second wedge here would be the values-driven. So imagine automotive. In Czech Republic, where I come from, we have a strong automotive industry. Maybe very different from here, at least from what I read about. So you cannot imagine your automotive industry, I'm afraid. But imagine a Czech automotive industry, right? So it's a very project-focused organization with delivery of tasks is the most important thing. Deliver, deliver, deliver. Maximize the velocity. And of course, estimates. Can you tell us how to estimate? Yeah, I guess I can, but does it really matter? Very difficult environment when you start talking about Scrum here and realize there is something called value. Say, what do you mean value? We need to deliver. Where is the requirement? Can you tell us how the requirements are done? And they use different labels for those requirements. I don't even remember. I was like, I don't know what that means, but can you tell me what kind of value you're delivering? Value? Oh, we have requirements. We need to deliver tasks. So if you want to shift in this environment, you start with purpose. Because without it, it will never work. So what kind of car we are building here? What's the most important? Oh, that's not our job. We are here only in this department doing that thing. Very nice. So what kind of car? Oh, it's this brand, right? Better not to name. And when you tell them like, it will never be possible. And they tell them, okay, so look at, for example, Tesla. Joe Justice is in the next room, right? He has good stories. So what about Tesla? Oh, Tesla is not a car. So, okay, well, it's driving, but I'm not the biggest fan of Tesla, but I am quite clearly sure it's possible to do things differently. What kind of car you want to be? Oh, that drives. Okay, well, it drives, but what else? The purpose lost in the tons of documentation and the requirements. And then any conversation about the value or about innovations. We can't innovate, we don't have time. We need to deliver. You know, our estimate says it should have been done 6 months ago already. We have no time to think about anything. Plus, we don't know what are we delivering anyway. We just do work. And then the next things came in place. Even if you define some value, how do we prioritize? Because in those organizations, everything needs to be done. So they start generating a lot of ideas, a lot of requirements, as they say. They say, how can we make them faster? Well, there is a magic. In Scrum, we have this role of a product owner, and his favorite word is no. We are not going to do that, right? It's a practice in front of the mirror, saying, no, sorry, we are not going to do that now. Maybe later. And that's very tough. I remember I went to this team, there was a bunch of developers, product owner, and I asked them, okay, so what are you going to do now? And the rest later, or never. And you should see the face of a product owner. He was like, no, everything needs to be done. This is really serious. The car cannot drive without the wheels, you know? Yeah, I know. So can you say no? Or can your product owners say no to a feature? Because otherwise they're just requirements collectors, not the real product owners. And finally, this trying to deliver things in a continuous way. Little here, little there, little here, little there, and inspect and adapt, learning from failures, right? It starts connecting. That's another piece. Because at the end of the day, we didn't start at Agile because we knew what needs to be done exactly. If you knew exactly what needs to be done, well, then do it. And don't bother dancing around with experiments. By saying no, because we know those 5 things needs to be done exactly this way. Well, do it, right? That's what the project management is about. The problem is that our nowadays world is more complex than that. And we don't know what needs to be done. So let's acknowledge it. We know what needs to be achieved. That's the value, but we don't know how. And that's scary. And being transparent about that, it's even more scary than being transparent about other things. So we don't know what needs to be done. We just know what needs to be achieved. Very difficult. Third one, customer-centric. Now, if you have the first 2 done correctly, the third one is very simple. But if you don't, well, that's scary as well, because they will come up with so many ideas what you can do. And your backlog, so-called, gonna be growing unlimited way. So the value would be prerequisite team culture as well. Imagine this would be a good example of a organization who is doing the body shopping. So they have no sense of value, they just deliver requirements. And they try to protect themselves very often behind the contract. Think, you know, you ask us to do this, so we just deliver it, done. Right? They have detailed requirements, fixed scope, fixed time, fixed money, of course. And proxy product owners because they don't really understand the business. So that's another flavor of a dark Scrum. If you try to apply it, right? Delivery mindset again, and no real sense of anything. Now, if you want to go out of it, and by the way, we did. My 10-year experience from the first Scrum and before and after was actually from a company doing outsourcing. I was not part of that company naturally. I just worked for them. And at the beginning, I got exactly this mindset. Give us requirement, we do it. We don't care about your business at all. Actually, we are the vendors, right? So what we shifted, we actually said, okay, we co-create things. You are part of us. And the big shift was how the customers really treated us. Because in some organization, they treat you as a vendor, so you're not allowed to enter the customer properties. You're the different company. When there is a Christmas party, guess who is invited? Only the employees, not the vendors, right? So we were the exact opposite. When we show up in the US in that company, huge corporation, by the way, then we are like anybody else. I got a card which has an entrance to anywhere else. And then when the Americans, the customers show up at our Prague facility, small company, by the way, 120 people, our manager of the facility said, no, they are not allowed to get a card. What if they steal something here? Like, what do you mean? We were invited in their facilities like friends, like colleagues, and you're saying We are not allowed to give them a card for the entrance and somebody need to pick them up every day. Like, really? Do you really believe we should work like this? And he was like, yes, because they are this process, right? And we need to be, it was so difficult, but we made it. So we really make them the real partners. We co-create things. We say, okay, so we have these problems. How can we help each other? I remember one of those situations where I was a director of the whole engineering group, and one of my colleagues came back and said, hey, can I take a day off? You know, tomorrow it's going to be sunshine. I want to go on bicycle. It's a replacement for that weekend I was working. I was like, what do you mean working over the weekend? He said, yeah, they need help, more customers, right? So I helped them over the weekend. It was raining anyway, so I don't mind. So can I take the day off on Wednesday? It's like, yeah, of course you can. But do you know that you could have said no to that request? Say, yeah, but it was raining. I don't care. They need help, right? So that's the real partnership. We are in it together. We help each other. We support each other. And we have no real problem anymore. It was quite nice because it doesn't feel like vendors and customers. It feels like partners. So again, you might start thinking where you are with your environments, right? Trust, no trust, transparency, no transparency, value, no value, partnership, no partnership. Empathy, a couple times today. So it's not just what you write somewhere. It's actually quite unimportant. It's what you feel. So recently I went to a coaching class as a follow-up on ORSC, which I did a couple years ago. And I realized that it's not just about what is between people, the relationship, but it's also about emotions. Can you feel that? Can you sense it? Can you really have an empathy, how the other people feel around you? Not just your colleagues, but also your customers, your managers, all of them. Heidi was speaking here about Lenswork, so I put it there as well. But can you step into the other people's shoes and kind of think, can I see my organization from a CEO perspective? Can I see it from a customer perspective? Can I see it from my colleague perspective? What would they say about it? What would you say if you take that stance? And take it incremental, because customers, no matter what they say, they don't know what they need. They don't know what they need. They try to help you with saying what they want, but it's usually kind of useless. I came to this realization when I was a customer and a product owner at the same time. For internal system of our company, I was using that system for 8 years at that time, knew like everything about it from a user perspective. I thought I knew a lot about Agile, so I can write a user story for a team. I could actually, they understand it, right? So I wrote a bunch of user stories. And next time the team came back to me, they say, well, you know, we just want to ask you, how many times are you going to use that feature? I was like, once. And they say, we thought it. So how about if we do this instead? I was like, wow, that's cool. So they haven't been in the same position as I was, because I was at that time promoted as an HR director. I have a specific need to compare the salaries of everybody to everybody so we can open it up. And they still can tell me what I need better than I could myself. Yeah, very good experience. So the customers, they don't know what they need. Be incremental, iterative. Try it and see what happens. Because maybe you don't know that either. Maybe you do, who knows? But try and see what happens. Number 4, adaptive operation. That's my favorite. So imagine a very small organization, service organization, they believe they are agile. But guess what? They still have yearly budgets. And they also have fixed plans, right? Because they need to fix the plans in order to be able to create a yearly budget. And they have defined business cases. For a couple of years they had not that well defined. One example from that organization, they came up with a experiment, a program they called experiment. They develop it for a year and then they run it for 3 years with no evaluation and no transparency about how are we going to measure that experiment is successful. It was not, by the way. So in 3 years, they run another refactoring of that experiment. They stop calling it experiment. And they say, now it is the real program. It was even worse than before. Very agile environment. Yeah, agile, right? So that environment is even harder because you think small organization should be easy to fix, right? They are nice people. 45 employees, come on. Young, agile. They use the terminology. Don't take me wrong. They got Scrum Masters, product owners, but no real understanding. And when you talk to their finance director, he said, yeah, I know this rolling budget is a thing, but they first need to learn how to do the real budgeting, exactly as I was doing it for 20 years. He was a very experienced guy, no questioning it. But he was actually rejecting any change. We need to do it the same way all around. Very frustrated. I remember I went for a dinner with him one day because at that time my personal kind of change or challenge was to spend time with people who are very far from me. Like naturally, I would go with Alex because he is a friend. We can talk about Agile, right? The whole evening and understand each other. This time I changed and I actually started going with the other people, with this finance director. And I remember we went from that dinner and he said, like, I still don't understand what is this Agile is about. After 2 years of me trying to explain that. And I was like, I'm done. I just gave up. I don't know how to solve it. Like it's, and I still don't know what I should have done differently. He was trying. It was very painful for him because the whole organization was talking about agility and he still didn't really understand how that could possibly work. So now when I work with leaders, I start with this metaphor. I take it from Steve Denning to give him a credit of that metaphor drawing. So the traditional organization is a tanker boat with a captain on the top giving the orders and the others just follow because I'm the smartest and I know what to do. The agile organization is more different, flotilla of small boats. But there is a risk. If those boats don't have the same purpose, don't understand the value the same way, good luck with that. So that small, tiny organization of 45 people, they didn't understand the purpose the same way. And guess what was even worse? They believed they do understand it. They have a very catchy phrase as their vision. And everybody said, oh, that's who we are. And then guess what happened to those teams who got quite high autonomy because we said we are an agile organization. It's fixed budget, of course, but agile organization. Every team take that phrase, vision, in their own direction and say, we're gonna do it this way. This is the most important for the entire organization. And the other team, this is the most important for the entire organization. And this is the most important. You see it from the outside. It was visible on a distance. And they were angry on the other teams. They have it wrong. Somebody should tell them that they don't understand it. They are doing harmful things, that things contradicting to each other. But they were unable to understand. There was like no power to tell them that what they believe is the right thing to be done is actually not, because they didn't share the same goal, the same purpose, the same world. I think it was even more painful than going to that telco company with those teams because those teams, they actually know we are traditional, we don't like Scrum, we don't want to be Scrum. Fine. But this organization believe we are agile. And they were not at all. So surprisingly, that might be even more painful than the real thing. And then, if you have the same goal, the same purpose, you can change the structure and really make it a flotilla of small boats. It's a network of collaborative teams, and it's moving on its own and sort of connected to each other. So what they have from that time, 3 years after, they have this. They became really agile. They don't talk about it that much, surprisingly. You don't hear we are agile organization, but they actually start acting this way. And what was behind that was a long conversation on the purpose. So now they all understand it the same way. And surprisingly, although all those OKRs, which were failing year after year after year, now make sense and are sort of cascading in a meaningful way. It's also about strategy, but the strategy is done in a very different way. Improve, evaluate, act, right? Continuous change. Yeah. So that program was supposed to be an experiment. If it was done correctly, we would know. How do we know that program is successful? For whom it is at the first place at all? What is the value of it? We didn't, right? So we cannot improve it because we didn't know how. So we close our eyes and believe it's going to work magically. It didn't. Budgeting, there is nothing magical about year cycles. Nothing. And I'm not saying that you cannot plan for a year ahead. I do the plan for a year ahead of my business. But I adjust it every quarter, every month, every week, depending on what is going on. To do the same for your organization. So actually, before that shift with that small organization, we got a year budget, and sometimes it was approved in June. Supposed to be January, right? So we were actually running with no budget for almost half a year because we were unable to agree on it. Now what they have a year ahead finance overview called budget, if you want to, any day of the year because it's rolling out there. And we know that what's going to happen next month is pretty sure. What's going to happen next year, well, might most likely change. But we still have an idea. We still check if we can afford it. And there's no conversation about it anymore. Catalyst leadership, that's my favorite. So what do you need to be a real leader? Authenticity. You need to be able to say things as they are. And do it that way. So when I started, I said, I want you to make a decision. And then when the stress came, I was like, hey, let's decide. There is a stress. I take it from them and decide. I was not really a good leader at the beginning. But I was lucky enough because I got a feedback from them saying, hey, that's what you did. I was like, wow, what shall I do? I completely failed. So I said, okay, if there is a failure, I need to be the first one who say it loud. So I came back to that team and say, sorry. I said, I will let you to decide, and I didn't. And I apologize. And I'm on that journey together with you. And thank you for telling me. It's difficult for me to change as well. And I guess that moment of being authentic and admit your own mistakes really saved my life in that company. Otherwise, they would kick me out a window in a day or two. Building relationships is another one. It's not about problems. The problems will sort out themselves. But can you build relationship between people? Similar to that, how do I help other people to grow? So being a leader, that's the ultimate one question. How can I help other people to grow? Ultimately, Bill Joyner's leadership journey, right? From expert, I know all the answers. I am the best developer. So I can tell you how. To achiever, I set a goal and you can achieve it your own way, but the goal is set for you. To being a catalyst, where you actually create a space and let people to do their best, support them, help them to be successful. All over, I want you to spend 30 seconds looking on this picture and thinking, where are we? Do we have fixed plans, project focus, delivery mindset? Are we a group of individuals with expert leadership, the red circle? Or do we have opportunity to run experiments? Do we have system focus? Do we have regular feedback and work as a team and have some goals to be achieved? Achiever leaders. Or maybe at some of those segments, you might got catalysts, adaptive strategies, whole product focus, co-creation, and network of collaborative teams. So where are you right now with your organization, with your team? And where you want to be? Because at the end of the day, you are all leaders. You choose your own destiny. And I don't mean managers. Managers are just a position, but you're all leaders. You can make your own decisions. So where you are, where you want to be. And then every time there is a small step possible. So what is the one small step which is possible for you? In a summary, the 3 hashtags: feedback, know where you are, where you like to be. Experiment, there is no one way. Inspect and adapt, figure out your own way. Don't copy paste. And resiliency, become ready to whatever future brings. Having said so, connect with me on LinkedIn. And for the 2 people who are willing to say in one word what they are living with, I have the 2 books here. It's very simple, but you need to read, be able to read in Japanese, sorry. So one is the Great Scrum Master, the other one Agile Leader. So Great Scrum Master first, anyone? What are you living with today?
I will find my one next step.
I hope you enjoyed the book. And then the Agile Leader one, somebody else? Yeah.
英語で、English。あ、アジャイルリーダーシップ、自分のを見つけたいです。
Thank you for translation. Thank you. By the way, I have a box with a couple more books. So if you want one, I'll be sitting in the lobby with, whether the registration was. So come and talk, have a question, and I'll give you the answer and the book if you want to. So thank you very much. I think questions goes outside to the lobby if you want. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Tsujiさん、Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。では、この後30分休憩になります。30 minutes for break time。で、5時半からまた次のセッション、ナイトセッションありますので、それまで休憩とさせていただきます。ありがとうございました。
I
do a lot of stuff, and I always focus. That's a good thing because it shows you the direction. There is always one thing you can do today. So what I like to do, I like to see a lot of things which are possible or where I want to be in like 10 years from now, and then do one thing and see what happens. But that's what I like on this agility, that it goes step by step. Yeah. Slowly by slowly. Yeah, so that was the biggest thing that really sank into me today. Find my next step. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Yeah, I think I've seen you somewhere. Agile testing days, right? I remember. Is your son or husband in?
マイクです。マイクです。こっちにこの喋って、私のは、お願いします。なんか、こいつがあかん。こいつ。違うか。こいつか。いや、こいつです。こいつでいいか。出ます。すげえ音声。ついてて、音声。マイクテスト。いい感じ？でも、ここ聞こえなくなってる？スピーカーが聞こえてるっけ？聞こえてるか？なんか、マイクテスト。いい感じ？マイクテスト。はいはい。はい。
あれ聞こえてる？私の声って聞こえてます？これ。会場流れてます？流れてない。じゃあ、トラブル。これ？
確かに、ここには、林さんが映ってるんだけど。
ちょっと、私、外行くんで、岩尾さんマイクで会話しましょう。そっか、俺の声聞こえてないから。
話してるのは聞こえてんじゃないや。林さん話してるのは、ズームでピコピコ立ってんだけど、会場には流れてないので。
なんで、会場に流す。そっか、それはそうだ。iPad が悪かったわけじゃなかったことですね。で、いいんじゃない？
流れてる？何した？なるほど。はいはい。
林です。岩尾さんどうですか？
ちゃんと聞こえるわ。
声聞こえます？
はい。
じゃあ、これで。
聞こえる。
ちょっとなんか、ちょっと、私の、あれか、ズームから会場の出力の原因をちょっと調整してもらっていいですか？
原因をさっき上げたの？
上げました。8ぐらいにしたんで、多分6とかにするといいんじゃないかな。
4になってるよ。
それ多分、会場から。
ごめん、こっちな。
そう、逆。そっち、今喋ってるんで、どうですか？ちょうどいい、ちょうどいい音感じで。
9ぐらいだったのを8にした。
どうですか？
気がしますけど。
会場、もしかしたら会場の方でコントロールしてもいいかもしれないですけど、一旦どうですか？この音で。
はい、いい感じに聞こえます。
はい、了解です。じゃあ、一旦これで OK ってことで。
はい。
ありがとうございます。
はい。いや、そっちの設定を直してくれたらよくて、今、おすすめ設定にすると、ここになるんですよ。この大きさね。で、これだと PA 側がピークに達してるみたいなんで、多分、ズームで聞くとガチャガチャしちゃう。だからそれは、iRig Play 2の原因が高すぎる。だから4じゃなくて3とか2にした。じゃあ、これで大丈夫かっていうと、でもピークに達するな。ピークに達しているので、ズーム側もギャジャガチャしちゃうしてるもっと下げて1とか。変わんないのか。そうなんだ。じゃあ、多分ここの、上の設定ってこんぐらいだったよね。でもなんか、こう、ピークに達しちゃうので、自分の声だと。そうそう。で、これを下げるのはいいんだけど、そうすると、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、こんぐらいだとピークに達さないんですね。でも、私の声がスピーカーから聞こえないから、脳内で響いてるのと同じ大きさ。会場的には大丈夫ですか？本当？じゃあ、これでいこうか。うん。これピーク達してるよね。だから、これもダメ。マイクテスト、マイクテスト。そんな悪くないの？どういうこと？なるほど。そうなんだ。あと1個だけ。マイクに、これもピークに達してんだけど、PA 上は。あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、あ、なるほど。マイクテスト、マイクテスト。これだと達さない。けど、会場的にも大丈夫ってことですよね。はい、はい。じゃあ、これで。 ちょっと待って、あともうちょいだけ下げて。マイクです。マイク。
林です。林です。林です。
聞こえてます。いい感じですね。
はい、オンライン参加者の林です。
はい
いと思います。
今回の RCGT どうですか？
スタッフ忙しすぎて何も見れてないです。
なるほどね。確かに。おはようございます。いい感じじゃないですかね。はい。
こんにちは。あ、入ってた。こんばんは。あんまり、
こんにちは。こんばんは。
あんまり何もやることを決めてなくてですね。
Yeah, the next session is a town hall meeting, but there's no agenda. And also, there's no professional interpreter now. I'm sorry. Maybe me and the Miho-san support you. Yeah. So sorry. The quality is very low, I think. I'm sorry.
How should I do? I have no idea, but I will show the budget sheet or something like that.
じゃあ、
いいの？見せていいの？
あ、もういいんじゃないかな。OK, let's. もう別にいいんじゃない？
普通にシェア。
Alright. Okay, let's start this session. This is the
share screen or not? Connected to the mic?
Share screen is okay.
じゃあ。
シェアスクリーン
どうなの？
で大丈夫だと思います。はい、
あ、見える。
あ、見える見える。はい。let's.
ちょっと待ってね。ちょっと待って。ブックマークが見えない方がいいんだな、本当は。ちょっと待って。
そうですね。
一旦止めよう。ちょっと待って。ブックマークのやつを、ブックマークバーを表示。あ、これでいける。OK、あるよ。
キャッシュフロー表の方でいい気がする。
This one. This one.
キャッシュ違う。
This one.
そうっすね。じゃあ、日本語と英語を混ぜながら、私と長瀬さんがちゃんと英語でアレックスに伝えるっていう感じで。じゃあ、Let's start. で、アキさんどうぞ。
はい、本日はお集まりいただきありがとうございます。なのかどうかわからないですけど。
I'm Aki. I'm the super great agile coach.
言ってね、はい。タウンホールミーティングです。で、プロポーザル読んでないんで、何やるか分かってないんですけど、
There's no agenda, I think.
シンプル。RCT とかスクラムフェス、日本全国のスクラムフェスっていうのが始まってて、で、全体で予算を一つにして会計してたりとか、全体でみんなが考えて、どういうお金の使い方をしていくといいのかっていうのを今取り組んでいる最中なんですよね。
Over the RCT and the Scrum Fest is now expanding to all over the Japanese regions. For now, we started to discuss about the budget thing. How can we spend the money to each region or each conferences? How can we? What's the best way to a better way to spend money to each region? So that we would like to discuss about that. What we need to hear from everyone.
言ってくれたけど、で、我々は一般社団法人スクラムギャザリングっていう法人格を持ってて、RCT 東京で大きくやってるけど、こう親子とかオーガン関係でやりたいって思ってないので、みんなでこのお金の使い方とかやり方とかをうまく考えていきたいなと思って、こういう場を持ちました。なので、みんなで、じゃあこのスクラムフェスとか、日本全体のスクラムとかアジャイルコミュニティとか、お金の使い方とか、何が良くて何が悪いのかっていうのをこう一緒にディスカッションしていければいいなと思ってます。
So we are the Scrum Gathering Tokyo organizers, and also we are the responsibility of the company of the Scrum Tokyo. That we sure we have we need to manage the budget accounting, but we don't want to control whole bunch of the budget or the whole of the money flow, so that we would like to discuss how can we do that better way or something. Yeah.
Can I ask something? So also there is no hierarchy for each gathering, each Scrum Fest.
Not under the Tokyo gathering, because the Tokyo gathering is the most profitable for now, just for now. But sometimes the other regional conferences, they borrow the budget from the Tokyo conference or center conference. And that's the hierarchical model is not good, we think. と思ってます。なので、皆さんからご意見をいただきながら、もっとうまくやるやり方を考えたいというふうに、アキさんが言っています。
So, if you have any questions on site or Discord, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, we are open. We are open to answer the question.
So if you do not have any question, there's no discussion here. please
Let's start.
Say something. Yeah.
Let's
start from じゃあ、バジェットシートから。
Okay. 違うな。
Give me money. いい話だ。
This one?
This one. Yeah, this one ですね。
This one.
This fiscal year started from the June, I think. But the first, the Osaka gathering, Osaka Scrum Fest start spending from the April, so that we started this matrix from April. The Osaka gathering, a little plus. And the next Sendai gathering, a little minus.
Okay.
Mikawa gathering, Mikawa Fest, a little minus. No problem. But this kind of the Tochigi, just a small start. There's almost free.
They are at the beginning.
At the beginning, so small amount of people. Yeah. It's a light minus, but no problem. And this is Scrum gathering, not finished, but we now estimated a little plus. A little, much plus. Okay.
Much
plus. The women agile next month, a little plus. This kind of, yeah. And the Fukuoka, a little minus.
Okay.
So this is this is a rough estimation, I think. Yeah. And Kanagawa is now finished the planning, and Niigata in May just started selling the tickets, so that very pessimistic estimation here. I think Fukuoka is also just gather, they just have the several sponsors now, just the plus. But the other thing is based on the last year's spending, I think. So there's a very pessimistic estimation here. That is, okay. こんな感じなんですね。日本語で言った方がいいかな。
で、まあ、一個一個大小様々の
マイナス見りゃ分かると思うんですけど、全然こんな感じですっていう感じでつまびらかになってます。
勘違いしてほしくなくて、一個一個マイナスだからどうとかをやりたいわけじゃなくて、全体でどうこう余ったお金というか、こう利益になったお金をどこにつぎ込んだり、初めてのとこはスポンサーがやっぱ集まらなくてしょうがなかったりとか、難しいこともあるわけじゃないですか。それをこう相互にどう助け合っていけるかみたいなやり方というか戦略というのをなんか話し合いたいなと思ってる。
The interesting thing is that the Sendai here on the left side is by number. When you see numbers, so it's you see the improving in the financial stuff, but so something is going bad, worse, but it's not. We don't think it's the bad thing because we have totally.
This is just a pessimistic.
Yeah.
Just counting the sales is the fixed sales, but the cost is just estimated.
なので今見積もりというか今こういう傾向だっていうだけでこれから調整が行われるでしょう。
our final goal is there's so much the variety of the money, and we can help each other. And also, the last year we will have the gashuku, the
camp retreat.
Camp.
Yeah, retreat among
Retreat,
the
yeah.
organizers, all of the organizers. So last year we got together for 13 people, 13 organizers.
13, yeah.
Yes, but I remember we didn't share this kind of stuff at a time.
Yes. No sharing. Yes, start from this year. Yeah.ということで、ちょっと明らかにしてみたんですけど、どうですかって。We just started the very clear amount of money the disclosing each other, but maybe some people have some anxiety or some difficulty feeling. I don't know. So if please give us the comment about that.
Okay. We don't have any gold here. Yes, please.
どうぞ。
なんか、こうやって数字見えるようになるとすごい安心できるなと思って、マイナスになってても、他にあるから割と、やっていけてるんだなっていう安心感はあるっていうので、ただ、なんかよく耳にするのが、これ、いや、大丈夫かなとか、結局これ使っていいのかなとか、承認を求めたりする場面があると思ってて、なんか、ある程度、現在残っているキャッシュが、予想と実績とあると思うんですけど、それをどっかに出しといて、全国、その足し引きしたやつ、あった。そう、これを、なんか、全国のカンファレンスで当分して、とりあえず、これ決済権持ってますよってやったら、ちょっとなんか変わったりしないかなって、パッと。
So Amy-san's idea is the total amount of money is here. If we divide it to each conference budget from this amount of money, this is the total remaining cash flow. That is a good for each Scrum Fest can spend the money inside the remaining cash flow and divided inside of cash flow.
それで言うとちょっと誤解があって、それぞれにこれを好きに使っていいですよっていうのを一旦与えてみたら、これをここのカンファレンスは新しいからこっちに渡したいなっていうのをもっとその組織の中で柔軟に考えやすくなるんじゃないかなと思って、だから例えば、
So Amy-san's idea is to pre-assign the budget, budget for the strategic assignment of the budget before the conference. If they have the budget, clear budget for each conference, some conferences at very start point, so they more the strategic money they have, but the other conference already profitable, so that are a little pessimistic the amount of budget they assign. This kind of before the pre-assignment of the budget is it makes clear for each self-organization there is more they can think of self decided the spending money. Okay,
yes.
Right. Okay.
And additionally, what I understand is that his opinion is that if they as organizers, all of organizers know these numbers, they can help other regions gathering, like other regions Scrum Fest?
そうです。なんかお互い助け合うのがもっとなんか使っていいのかなとか、これ自分のところマイナスなんだけど、本当にこのお金他のところにいいよとか、自分が言っていいのかなみたいなところを一個スキップできるかなと思って、互助ができればいいなって思ってます。
いいと思うんですけど、ポイントはそれをどうやって決めるか問題っていうのはどうしたらいいですかね。
それというのは
だからその戦略的にどこにアサインしますっていうのはどうやって決めるんですか。だからそれを後でも悩まない代わりに先に決めておけばいいっていうアイデアだと思うんですけど、先に決めるのは誰がどういうふうに先に決められるのかな。
なんか
My question is, how can we decide this kind of a budget before this sheet?
なんかとりあえず今年は初めてだったんで、今の言ったことをやろうとするともっと難しいと思うんですけど、来年になったらなんとなく去年こんなだったっていうので一回見えてるのもあるので、予想がもうちょっと経験ベースで正確になるのもありますし、大体こんなのがあるんだったら、大体ちょっと余裕持ってこれくらいのなんて言うんでしょうね、採決権的な決裁権的な何かを置いといて、でそれを好きに使ってくださいっていうのを各カンファレンスの実行委員会内で決めてもらう。
ここで議論を繰り返すより、他のオーガナイズの方々はいかがですか。
今の話は、よくある、いわゆる年次の予算を先に割り振っておくと、その中だと自由できるねっていうご意見かなと思うので、それは一つかなと思います。はい。
One thing I've found is that this chart is quite new for you. You see this chart for the first time, right? ほぼ almost first time. So we thought it was open for every organizer, I think.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I found that the fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this idea is based on the beyond budgeting model. The beyond budgeting model is not budgeting before the process, but they just clarify all the spending and all the estimation here is it makes the people can decide by themselves. There's no blame, no hate, no decision for them. Maybe this is a little struggle with each Scrum Fest organizers, but we also struggle with how can we deal with this kind of budget. That is very difficult. So I do not have the idea about the pre-assignment budget now.
最後1個だけ、補足させていただくと、なんか年度の頭とかに割り振るっていうよりかは、常に流動的に変わっていく、その残りのキャッシュが実際いくらなのっていうのを常にどっかに持ってるように、お互いが持ってるようにして、自分が決めていいんだっていうのが認められてるっていうのがある方がスムーズなんじゃないかなっていう互助がっていうアイデアでした。
その点については天野さんが大変詳しいので。先にバジェット決めた方がその範囲で使いやすいんじゃないかっていうご意見。
Yeah, I'm an organizer of Sendai Scrum Fest, and I decided how much money we pay in Sendai, and in my opinion, it is difficult to estimate how much money we need before. What kind of novelty good yes goods we make, and what kind of dinner we need, and I like craft beer. I wanted to drink much beer, and I decided to pay money for beer, and we decided we we paid much money for beer, and last year we decided no, we don't pay for lunch, and adjusted budgets. And so, yeah, my opinion is it's difficult to decide. はい、以上です。
ありがとうございます。じゃあ
Thank you.
Thank you. 先に決めるのは難しいかなっていうご意見でした。他のスクラムフェス的にはどうとかありますか？じゃあ。
Is the organizer
残
of
念ながら
this
言ってしま
any
った、
Scrum Fest here?
はい、人たちに。
何か意見が Any comments? Or I saw him.
手を挙げたのは私がオーガナイザーですって手を挙げただけなんだけど、
そうそうそう
意見があるわけじゃないけど、
そうそうそう
マイクが回されてしまったっていう。はい。OK。
三河、そうですね、私、英語喋れないんで。
大丈夫です、大丈夫
I
です。
cannot speak English.
No problem。
三河を私は、
三河をオーガナイザー？
三河やってます。で、最初に予算をある程度決めてやるっていうアイデアは全然いいかなって思う反面、ちょっと自分の頭の中が社畜になってるんで、なんかどうも部の予算と課の予算みたいな形になってるのかなんですけど、結構その前回の去年ベースで考えるのはありなんですが、ただ各フェスので指導するタイミングが異なると思うんですよね。毎年機種じゃなくて、それで三河だったらまだ年明けてからですしとか、それでさらに去年と同じとは限らずに、今年はこうしようみたいなことになると、多分この予算ってずれてくると思うんですよ、かなり。そこのところがどういうふうにうまくやっていけるといいかなと思うところと、逆になんでしょうね、最初に取ってしまう、まあそうですね、そこがなんかうまく解決できると、なんかありかなと思います。ただ時期の後半の方になってくると、多分予算が減ってくると、なんか多分変な忖度が働いて、あんまり今回できんかなってなっちゃうところも心配で、そこの公平性をどうするかっていうところがやれると、なんかうまく透明性もありつつ、お金をどう使うかっていうのもできるかなっていうところはちょっと、はい、思いましたっていう、はい、感想だけですけど。
ありがとうございます。Thank you. So this opinion is based on even based on the last year's budget, but this year's conference, the planning is just started another conference, so that maybe there's some kind of budget model changing, so that very hard to estimate about the whole year's budget. He thinks, and also and also the timing is varied. If the Mikawa is located here, it's a little early, but here the Fukuoka is a little later this fiscal year. This is maybe not equal. Not sometimes if the Mikawa can spend so much money, maybe Fukuoka cannot spend the kind of money. So this is the kind of equivalence is a lack of equivalence, a little fear about that. Yeah, this yeah. Good question, good opinion, I think. 私もそう思います。はい。だからでもそこをどう調整するかっていうのはちょっと話し合えるといいかなと思います。Thank you so much. じゃあ、神奈川、なんかご意見とかあれば。
そうですね。意見ってレベルではないかもしれないんです。
全然。
はい。神奈川を今年から、去年、今年か本格的に、スクリスカナが動き始めました。で、どのような金額までスポンサー集めて、どれぐらいの黒字作ればいいのかとか、赤字になった時のペナルティあるのかとか、そういうあたりが結構ビビりながら、この予算回り、当初、最初の頃は動いていて、スクフェスとしてどのように、この予算を使わせていただくときに一体どのようなことを意識すればいいのかとか、ということがちょっと分かってなかったので、そのあたりが定まってくると、新しく新規参入には結構、動きやすく、気持ちとしても安心感を持って動けるかなと考えております。
He started the Kanagawa conference from this year. There's no a clear estimation about their income and their budget? Sure. So that if they have some kind of the model, how much money they can spend, or some kind of the estimation or some kind of guideline, if there some guideline that they can easily start that. This is his opinion. Yeah, 関さんの opinion.
ちなみに言い訳じゃないんですけど、僕、神奈川にはまだ説明してないです、多分このバジェットシートの使い方を。で、始まるときにチュートリアルやろうと思ってるからで、あんまりまだ説明できてなくてごめんねっていうのと、で、今年これをやり始めたところなんですね。まずバジェットシートで全体のキャッシュフローをやって、まずは見えるようにしましょう。で、このバジェットシートの使い方も各地の、それぞれのスタートの時期にそれぞれの地域のオーガナイザーと話して、使い方とかこういう考え方だよっていうのは、1回か2回かぐらいは一応説明はしているつもりで、それでもちろんできるとは思ってないけど、一旦のチュートリアルというか、こういうつもりでやってますっていうのは、他の地域の方々には伝えているつもりで、これから正義さんに伝えようという段階ではあります。で、もうちょっとしたら金沢っていうのがスタートするので、その時に、またその説明を僕だけがやらなくてもよくて、知っている他のオーガナイザーとかがサポートしてくれていると思ってるんですけど、それを今やってるっていう状況です。はい。
From the organizer or Aki-san, we will make a guidance for the Kanazawa, the newly started Kanazawa, the Scrum Fest near future. Yeah. Let's discuss about that. じゃあ、ゆいまるですか。
はいはい、はいさい、沖縄のオーガナイザーをしています岩ムです。スクラムフェス沖縄は先月12月に第1回を開催しました。
Organizer of the Okinawa Scrum Fest.
沖縄スクラムフェス。はい。同時通訳。ありがとうございます。で、沖縄は、まだ立ち上げだったですぐだったので、過去の実績というのがないので、やはり予算を最初に立てるのが難しかったというところがあります。で、スポンサーもどのくらい集まるかわからなかったので、最初だったので実績がなかったので見積もりは難しかったです。で、スポンサーもどのくらい集まるかわからなかったので、スポンサーがどのくらい集まったらここまでのご飯が出せる、ここまで集まればじゃあノベルティ作れるとか、そういうふうに段階的にここまでお金が集まればこれをやろう、ここまで来たらこれをやろうっていうふうに一気に全部やろうとするのではなくて、ちょっとずつここまで来たらこれをやろうっていうふうに段階的に計画を立てていました。で、その中でおかげさまでスタッフ T シャツ、スポンサーの集まり具合によってスポンサーからの費用で T シャツ作ることができました。あと、オリジナルのロゴデザインをデザイナーさんに作ってもらうことができました。そこまではいけたんですが、皆さんにもっといいノベルティ何か仙台だと、ビールのグラスとか、新潟だと日本酒のグラスとか作ってたんですけど、沖縄は残念ながらそこまではいけなかった。ただ今の実績としてここまではできた。なので次はここをやりたいねというふうに夢は、次に持ち越しという感じになっています。
So if I don't have any experience before because we don't have any past Scrum Fest in Okinawa, so at first I thought when we had money here, so we can do the gorgeous dinner for the participants or the gorgeous takeaways, but actually we had money only here, so we really wanted more, but we some kind of gave it up. Then, but for my, can I summarize him? So inspect and adopt, right? So when I do for the first time, I got to know something. So if once I experience some organizing, so we can do more for the next time. So don't afraid or something.
そしてmost important thing,
please go ahead.
一番大事だと思うのは、 説明責任が大事だと思うんですね。
The important thing is
お
the
金を使うこと
accountability.
に対してアカウンタビリティ。なんでこれを買ったのか、なんでこれにお金を出したのかっていうことを誰かに許可を取って決済してもらうじゃなくて、自分たちでこれが必要だと思った、この会を盛り上げるためにこの出費が必要だと思ったから出しましたよっていうのをこういうシートに、全員が見れるシートに書いてるのもそうだし、後から何か言われたときに、私たちはこう考えてこれにお金を使いましたっていうのが説明できるっていうのが一番大事かなと思います。
The important thing is the accountability. We don't get any permission to spend money. So we just spend money by our decision making. And the important thing is that to describe why we spent these monies. And that's it.
That's it. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。Thank you.
からもう一個いいですか。
はい、どうぞ。
なんか考えるときに2つぐらいポイントかなと思ったことがあって、1個はこのカンファレンスがそれぞれ開始するタイミングが違くて、かぶってるっていうところかなと思ってて、なんで確定するまでこの幅があるじゃないですか。それが独立してたらもうちょっと考えやすさがあるのかなと思うんですけど、かぶってるっていうのが1個ポイントで、あともう1個が1年目のカンファレンスなのか2年目以降のカンファレンスなのかって、このキャッシュフロー表の使い方というか使い方が違うような気がしていて、最初だと本当に何もわからんのよっていうか、本当に何もわかんないんですよね。この数字見ても、そっか、チケットから足せばみたいな感じに。
So his question is how this is unclear in the first day conference year if he started a new conference. That is a very struggle point, he think. So his advice is Okinawa started this year. Good point. じゃあ沖縄出しましょう。
Concrete example is needed. So here is the
how they
Here's the detail of the spend money. So sponsor income and go down. 下に行くと、
this is a cost.
October, November, December. どの月で何を買うっていうのが、こういうふうにいついつこのぐらいお金を使うっていうのをここで細かく出しています。
This is the total amount of the remaining cash here. This もうちょっと上行ってもらっていいですか。This conference this is the end of November, like they think they have they already have the sponsors, several sponsors already cash in, so that they can spend this amount of money more. But after some kind of spending money, they already the minus in here. From they decided to do the party, so the total a little minus in the closing. But if they have more money, more the sales, Iwamu-san have another dream to spend something other, but they stop the spending just here. So this kind of the adjustment he did.
これについてもう一個仙台の例を喋ってもらったら何をどういう理由を考えるか
important thing is that the break-even point is clear here. So we know the break-even point, so we can make good decisions, right? Right decisions, right?
仙台見ますか
The Sendai, for example.
So let's see Sendai budget. And it's like a backlog. And
Like a backlog.
Yes, and upside is incomes, and 下の方 is
downside is
downside is yes. So a lot of money we pay. It's line 58. It's so big money we spent. It's about beer,
beer.
Dinner.
Beer and dinner.
Yes. So we decided. So the PBI or top PBI is beer and dinner for Sendai.
It's your MVP. Your MVP.
Yes.
Beer.
So. So we decided much money for craft beer and dinner and remaining money is about 20 to その18万ぐらいで so a few so not so much money we have, so we decided we spent money なんかランチをやめたみたいなやつどっかに書いてありましたっけ？あ、そっか消したのか。
They gave up the lunch box in this time. Yeah.
はい。
Beers, the providing beers are prior to lunch, right? It's real.
After the another project sponsor coming, so they rethink they can spend a little more money, yeah, in that time. So they decide to have their after party based on this the newly income the project sponsor.
仙台に関して言うと、後から入ったプラチナスポンサーで、あと品川の皆さんとかで使ってた金額を把握してなかったんで、見えてなかった予算をここに計上したら、もう普通にプラチナの収入使っちゃったから、追加でできることないねっていう話になりました。
And also after the travel expense from the Shinagawa staff, they after right after the conference, they provide this information. So this is not controllable from the Sendai people. He said, yeah, that's great.
これ下見っているんですか？でかいね、下見。
それも判断しないといけないっていうことが分かる。
なんで仙台はその下見でそんなに豪華な懇親会しない方がいいっていうのは学びでした。
大事なんだけど、
下見って英語で何で言うの？リハーサル or something? Yeah, the location hunting. ちょっと和製英語っぽいのやめてもらっていいですか？some the staffs they have the before the conference trip to the Sendai because we can investigate the venues, the current status, and set up the good distribution, the hybrid conference distribution, this kind of the things we should estimate our staff think so that we charge this kind of the travel budget after that. Yeah. But this is a track record so we can estimate the next year, I think, based on this the budget. I think, yeah, that's a good thing, I think. And also, this is my opinion. This minus is not, this is okay, I think. Because the total, the fiscal year budget is not minus. Yeah, that's a good balance. Yeah.
This
フィスカルイヤーとしては全然マイナスになってないんで、だから全然マイナスになっていただいても全然構わないなと思って、でただ、なんだっけ、ビヨンドバジェッティングって脱予算系のところで言われているのは、なんだけど、みんなでコスト意識を持つっていうのがすごい大事だよねって語られていて、こう書いてあったら、やっぱりちょっとここは我慢しようかなっていうふうに自律的に思って止められるじゃないですか。でそれをお互いにやり合うっていうことが、もしかしたらだから先にバジェットを与えて好きに使いたいっていう方がいいかもしれないけど、全体としては別に良くないんですよ。あなたたちにバジェットを与えると他の人は使えないってことが起きてくるわけで、だから、this is the kind
the
of
important thing is that sharing the risks.
yeah, sharing risk is a better, maybe I think. はい、どうぞ。
三河です。このキャッシュフロー表って、もう確定しているものが出てるイメージですよね。
いや、確定しているものじゃなくて、先までもう予想のものも入れてます。だから、新潟とかずっと赤なのは先まで入ってる。
なんで、三河の時に今年やってた時は、別のシートで三河の方でもうキープをしてあって、こんぐらい会場変わったんでね、いろいろこんぐらいかかりそうだに対して、スポンサーどれぐらい行けばトントンになるか、チケットはどれぐらい入れれるかっていうのも含めて、もう数字揃えて、その下の合計値はマイナスドカーンって出てるのじゃなくて、大体こうトントンになるところを目指して、これぐらい入れなきゃダメだ、これぐらいお金使えるかなっていうのを見ながらやってはいました。なんで、
いいと思
う。それが、だからどれぐらいなのかみたいな話だとするのであれば、三河は去年のを参考にしながらやっていたので、それぞれのね、この地域でどれぐらいなのかとかいうのをこう、どういうふうに考えていくのかっていうのは、それぞれでやる必要があるのかどうなのかっていう感じですけど。
大阪とか RCT でも全く同じことやってて、で、RCT の場合は、大体その1回このバジェットシートを去年ベースで作っておいて、売上も同じですって、で、ゼロだったらどうなる売上がね。で、真ん中ぐらいだったらどうで、全部売れたらどうなるっていうシミュレーションをそこの指標を直接書き換えて、大体これぐらいだね、みたいな。だから全然売れなかったらすげえリスクあるね、みたいな話をやって、じゃあそのリスクが起きたとき、全然売れませんでしたとか、例えば会が開催できませんでしたって起きたときに、じゃあどうなるっていう話し合いをして、で、じゃあその時はこれを切りましょうとかって話を先にしたりして、だから同じことをやってると。
それもそうだし、さっきみたいにこう出てきたら、下見いんのとか、モビリティいんのみたいに、こうやっぱコストカットみたいになるわけじゃないですか。でも、下見は必要な時もあるし、今いらない時もあるし、ノベルティでみんなのテンションが上がったりとか、こう一体感が生まれるんだったらいるっちゃいるじゃないですか。だから、稼いでたら使っていいとかいうわけでもないし、マイナスだったら使っちゃダメかっていうとそうでもなくて、絶対マイナスでも、例えば手伝ってくれるスタッフの交通費とか全部かかって、知見のある人たちがやっぱ集まってスタートダッシュしたいから、そこは人件費かけちゃうよとかいう判断があったりするわけじゃないですか。だからプラスマイナスも大事なんだけど、どういう価値を生み出すための、バジェットなのかっていうのを多分みんなで考えないといけなくて、それが温度感、スクエスごとに温度感が違うのもそうだし、お互いの各地、神奈川は今からだからもうちょっと注ぎ思いで、こういう合意ができていればいいと思ってて、それをやりたい。
多分改めてちゃんと話したことがないから、オーガナイザーの人たちに言っとくと、今、RSTT とかいいステータスなんですけど、初期ね、苦労したのが、これだけやる、例えば会場を借りた、こういう人を呼ぶ、これだけ物を作った、 からこれだけ売らなきゃいけないみたいなのがよくある予算の立て方で、それをやると何するかっていうと、何のためにやってんのみたいな。なんか借金
スポンサー営業しなきゃいけない。
そう、スポンサー営業、ドブ板とか言ってたよね。最初、
ドブ板
欠板状とか書いて、お金が赤字になったら銭切らなきゃいけないからとかやってたんですけど、
手売りチケットしよう。
あ、そうそうそう、何枚読んだとかね。で、それをやると、何のためにやってるかっていうと、自分たちが立てた予算のために自分たちで血ヘドを吐くみたいな、一番バカみたいじゃないですか。
それ、あれなんですよ。なんか私、大学の時にサークルでマンドリンクラブにいたんですけど、全くそれが同じモデルなんですよ。だから会場を借ります。私たちがこれだけお金使うとか決まってるから、じゃあ何枚友達にチケットを売らなきゃいけないとかっていう。デューティーが先に課される
自分で立てたデューティーに自分が追われるみたいなね。じゃあ借りなきゃいいじゃん、部屋みたいな話なんだけど、でも借りちゃうじゃないですか。で、それをやらなくしたのがある程度やってきて、予算が予算じゃない、資金、余剰金がたまって、何ができたかっていうと、一番大変なベニューを抑えるところが余裕を持って抑えられる。
前の年の予算で抑えることに、
前の年の上がりで次の年の会場を抑えるっていうことができると、そこ一番大きいんで、じゃあ何ができるよねっていうことがやっと、なんていうのかな、追われることなく考えられるようになったということで、さっきの話で言うと、最初のエイミ君の質問にもかかってくるけど、これだけしか使えません、もしくはこれだけかかるからどう稼ごうみたいな考え方にはしてほしくなくて、逆にやりたいことがあるんだったら、こんだけ後ろお金あるんだからやってくれよと。その代わりバリューがあることね。飲み食いで終わるとかどうでもいいなんかノベルティ作るとかじゃなくて、別に例を出したわけじゃなくてよ。なので安心してやってもらう。でしかも去年に関しては、初めての試みだったので、そのさっきの品川の旅費もそうですけど含めてブレーキをかけずにめちゃくちゃ使ったんですよ。で、これ見るとすごい赤じゃん。で、しかも、あんなあれ使ってんだとか、そのスタッフのアフターパーティーとかさ。で、それをやって分かったことによって、あんなにやるとまずいんだなっていうことがやっと分かった。そうなんです。で、あとは、だから、アクセルを、ガッて踏むと、どこまで行くか、どこまでやったら怖いのかっていうのがやっと分かったんで、じゃあ、どう運転するかはそれぞれのドライバー。で、新しいカンファレンスは神奈川とか、その感じがまだ分かってないんで、今の踏まえた上で、だから最初は踏むんでいいんだと思うんですよ。で、あまりにもあまりだったら誰かが言うと思うけど。
まずこれは年次の決算レベルなので、まずは年次の決算で赤にならなければ絶対大丈夫じゃないですか。だから、RACT は多分これぐらい儲かってるとかになりそうなんで、これも予測に過ぎないんだけど、だったらもうちょっと踏み込んでも大丈夫だよねって今、福岡はこういう感じの予算感になってるんだけど、もしかしたら RACT がこけたらここのコストは減らさなきゃいけないっていう判断が出てくるかもしれないし、いや、そこはもうでも若干一万社団法人にまだ去年までの留保金があるからなんとかなるよってジャッジになるかもしれないし、そこはちょっとまだ計算しないとわからないし、今考える必要もないと思うんですけど、っていう感じで、いくら残ってるかっていうのはあんまり私たちも把握してないんだけど、とりあえずは年次で分かるっていうところに行きたいなっていうふうに思ってます。
年次っていう意味だと、一般社団法人としては会計年度は6月。はい、6月。
合宿までです。はい、
そう。5月か。
5月いっぱい。
5月いっぱいか。で、6月から次の期になるので、最初にやるイベントが大阪始まりの今のところ神奈川終わり。
ぼちぼち時間なんで。
はい、になってるかな。
で、大阪の場合は、前の年からお金使い始めたりとか、お金が入り始めるんだけど、これは前受け金として計上するので、次のフィスカルイヤーに実は飛ばしているんで、3月ぐらいから表が始まるんだけど、あれは実際、5月以降にもう一回、その繰り戻し処理をやっているっていう、細かな話があります。はい、会計的には。前年度の売り上げにしないっていう処理はちゃんとやってます。
そのためのコミュニケーション、各地で、そもそもにオーガナイザー書いてたりとか、あるんですけど、関係性があると思って、やり取りをしたいっていうのが今ここなんです。
結構このまま。
だから、踏み込んだ、ごめんね。 踏み込んだときにいくらまでなら使えるんですかっていうのが多分最初のエイミさんの問題提起で、それはすごくありがたいんだけど、我々も実は分からん。だって並行してみんな踏み込むかもしれないから。その時に余ってる金額これだけですよとここに出てるんで、じゃあこれぐらいなら踏み込めるかなっていう温度感をカンファレンスでちょっとずつやってみるみたいな感じが、まあ今かなっていう感じで、どうかなって思ってるっていう感じです。
それ多分勝手に判断するんじゃなくて、周りに聞いたりとか、温度感探るじゃないですか。他の地域どうそのコミュニケーションが大事なんだ。
結構この1年目やってみたのってある程度感覚つかんだとこが多いと思うんで、このままやっていけば、でまた、来年とかどっかこういう話す場がちゃんとあれば、自然とお互いうまくやっていけるんじゃないかなっていうのはすごい思います。
なんかスクラムアライアンスが協賛してくれてるイベントなので、ちょっと言っとくと、スクラムアライアンスのスポンサーフィーが入らなくなると急にやることが変わるよね。あ、でもこけはしないです。こけはしない。なので。
そうですね。RSCT の黒字がだいぶ変わってくる。
そう、RSCT の黒字が変わってくる。だからみんな認定スクラムなんとかとかね、受けると上納金がそこに行って I have money みたいな人がいて、そこから降りてくるんで、エコシステムとしてはそうなってるので、ぜひ認定トレーニングとかね、やってるからお金を落としてくれる。
何の話や。
一応。
でも、だから日本がいくら払っても、なんかグローバルでマイナスになってくると、多分ちょっとだから今、多分彼らはコロナ以降あんまり調子が良くないらしいので、ちょっと絞ろうとしてきてるんだけど、でも日本が結構ちゃんと回ってるらしいので、日本は多分減らされてない。
でも東京の予算もスポンサーフィーも減らされたんだけど、なんとこの円安により、
あ、そうだ、減らされた。
減らされたんですけど、円安によりめちゃくちゃ増えた。
実は増えた。
ドル
建てだと減ったんだけど。
3万ドルから2万5千ドルに減ったんですけど、日本円でガンガン増えたんだよね。
上がっちゃったんだよね。増えたよ。今のうちに買え、今のうちよって。
両替タイミングをね、アキさんが添付の際があるんで、今だ全額みたいなことやってるんです。で、時間だよ。
アキさんの金馬ね。それがアキさんの金馬。
学習して閉じてもしょうがないし、今それを基準決めても、結局社会とかどうしても変わるし、参加者も変わるから、結局意味ない。その調整をやり続ける筋力、やり続ける筋力で、それを今から一緒にインプレスしていきましょう。
マキさん、マイク使ってなかったですけど、いいこと言いました。
いいこと言ってました。俺の金馬に任せとけって言ってました。はい、てな感じで始めてみたんで、またちょっと議論しながら、議論っていうか別に普通に使ってもらって大丈夫だと思うんで、あり金が明らかになっているんで、これぐらいなら使って大丈夫かなって踏み込んでいただいて、もっと踏みなくなったら、ちょっと議論を巻き起こしていただいて。
承認制にしたくないんだよね。
はい、誰も承認できないんで。
そう、使っていいですかって言われても、いや、自分で考えてってなる。あと、本当にダメなのは分かるでしょって思ってるんだけど、本当に分かんなかったら相談には乗りますよね。
そう、相談には乗るし、じゃあ我々も分かんないんですよ、結局。だから、RSCT もどうなるか分からないってステータスなので、割とどうしようもなくって。
だからお前考えろじゃなくて、持ってきてくれてありがとう、一緒に考えようでいい。
はい。
なんか各地域のオーガナイザーやってると、また仙台はこれから2月に実行委員会立ち上げようと思うんですけど、この仙台をじゃあ立ち上げた時点で、今全体で見たときに収支がどれぐらいプラスだから、最悪赤字になっちゃったとしても補填可能な金額みたいなところが全体収支で把握できている状態で動けると、だいぶやりやすいなっていう感覚があるんですけど、これ、見方的には、あれですか、この23仙台っていうところで、その4月のところで39万7700円っていうのがありますけど、ここが仙台スタート地点の、プラスここから始まってるみたいなイメージでいいんですかね。
5月に始まってるんだよね。
これは5月にスポンサー収入が多分入ってきてるところですね。
で、その、スタートだから1個前の39万7700円の方が、仙台が始まる前の月確定ではあるんだけど、
はい。
月ごとに、締めていって、今残高どれぐらい、有高どれぐらいかなって見せるようにしてるのがこれなんで、みんなの更新具合にもやっぱり寄っちゃうんですよね。
だから他のカンファレンス、スクフェスでまた支出が あって、そこの残高が減るっていうのはあるわけですよね。
あります。なので、各カンファレンスはとりあえずブレイクイーブンを狙う感じで、お金の使い方を整理して、でも最終的にマイナスになっちゃうっていうケースがさっきのようにあって、どれぐらいマイナスだったら大丈夫かなっていうのは、なんとなく察するみたいな。
そこの察し方をどう見ればいいのかがあんまり分かってない。
左側の金額を見ていただければ、だから月ごと残高、月ごとキャッシュフロー残高があるんで、
だからそこはその自分たちが見ているところ以外でも変動するけれども、一旦そのキャッシュの残りとしてはこれがあるよっていう。
で、RCT が動き始めたら RCT 入れるし、で、大阪がやったら大阪入れてあるので、大阪、今のところ大阪と RCT が割と黒字にはなりがちなので、それ見ながら。ただ、来年大阪が今、バーチャルでやってるからこんだけ黒字だけど、なんか場所借りようって話になってるんで、来年はもしかしたらこんなに黒字が積み上がってないかもしれないから、他の人たちもちょっと若干ブレーキを踏み気味にしないといけないかもなみたいなのが出てくるかもしれません。ちょっとそれはこれからの大阪の人たちの考え方次第。
実務的な注意点としては、この参照してるセルの計算を間違わないようにしてほしい。結構あれマジで。すごい、ここ抜けてたわ、ドン赤みたいなのあるから、そう、行削除とかすると、ベンってなるから。
RSD は本当にだからそれで300万ぐらいとかずれたりする。
そう。
やべ、クソマイナスだとか言ってたら、あれ、なんか黒字になったとか、なんかそんなの毎回やってる。
とにかくお願いしてるのは、月末に締めてほしい。ここまでに。
あと月ごとのこのさっきのイアムさんが説明してくれた月ごとのやつをなるべくやっていただくと、だからブレーキを自分たちでかけられるじゃないですか。だからこの中でなるべくそんなにマイナスにならないように、プランニングするというのがまず各カンファレンスとしてはやるといいなと。でもいやマイナスになっちゃうよだったら全然構わなくて、その時はマイナスになっちゃった時に全体としてキャッシュフロー的には収まるかっていうのをなんとなく見てもらって、これぐらいのマイナスなら踏み込んでもいいかみたいな感じでやってもらえばいいかな。
アンドバリューマネジメントみたいな感じ？そうじゃないアンドバリューマネジメントみたいな感じをイメージしてもらえばよくて、だからドーンとプロジェクトドン予算使い切るじゃなくて、月ごとにちゃんと計上して大丈夫だよねを、あと各カンファレンスの中で、各スカフェスとかの中で、今月来月で、ここ赤だけど鍋ってトントンだよねみたいなのを目指してもらえれば全体的には大丈夫。アジャイルだから？い
やでもね、結構だから去年とか今年とか大阪が結構プラスだから、これが結構いい感じに見えるんだけど、最初からマイナススタートするとみんな一気に気持ちが冷える。
大阪だっていきなり使い始めるところね、年明けにね、年度明けに。
もあるし、前はだからバーチャルの時もっとプラスだったんだよね。700万ぐらいまで行ってて、っていう感じがあったんだけど、今年は70万ぐらいになってて、もう全然それでスタートが変わってきているっていうのが去年と今年の違いだったり、あと一昨年と去年ぐらいで違ってきているので、そのあたりちょっと、お互いの様なので、見ながらやっていければなと。で、もしかしたら RCD も、だからコストを上げた方がいいのか。今だから1分で売り切れちゃってるから、いよいよちょっとプライス上げた方がいいのかなとか、ホテルカンファレンスやる、ベニューを広げるってことも考えなきゃいけないかなっていう議論をしているのも、ここ見ながらやっているので、そこはみんな、同時並行的に議論しながら、考えながら、ベストな方向でできればなというふうに思ってます。
15分過ぎているので終わりたいと思います。
最後に興味本位1個だけ聞かせてほしいんですけど、これ左の C 列の残高、全体の収支のところが、マイナスになると何が起きますか？
マイナスになると、去年300万マイナス。去年実際300万マイナスで、内部留保金から取り崩しました。だから、で、さらにマイナスで、もう2回ぐらいマイナスだと多分金が尽きて借金しないといけなくなる。
これ逆に全部プラスに見えてるのは、今2ヶ月に1回ぐらいどっかでカンファレンスがあるからプラスが入ってくるからなんですよ。例えば途中がないと。
これは、年次だけ見てます。だからゼロスタートで年次で、 で、年次がマイナスになると、これまでの留保金からの取り崩しになって、留保金があとどれぐらい残ってるかって、多分7、800万だと思うので、去年、だから去年のマイナス300はなんとかなったけど、今年のマイナス300はぼちぼちちょっと肝が冷えるなみたいな感じになってきます。
ちょっと、はい、
じゃあなんか OST とかでも続き喋れると思います。
ちょっと誰かが飛ばないように頑張りたいと思います。
はい、それはない、それはない。はい、大丈夫。じゃあなんかお時間オーバーしてすいません。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。オンラインの人もありがとうございます。はい、よろしくお願いします。
金の話ばっかりしちゃった。
大好きな金の話。I have money conference.
I have money conference. それ、誰だっけ？ハワードじゃん。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。